In this lesson, we're going to take a look at switching a mixed number into an improper fraction. So before I start anything, I want to talk quickly about what do I mean about mixed number. So a mixed number means that we're going to have something like 3 and 1/4. So we have 3 total plus a 1/4. An improper fraction means that when we have our fraction, our numerator, the numerator's on top, is going to be larger than the denominator. So 13/4 would be an improper fraction, and these are actually equal to each other. So how do I switch from 3 and 1/4 to 13/4? So if you remember, a fraction is just a piece of a whole. So if I have one whole, a square, 1/4 would be shading in one part of that. If I wanted 2/4 or 1/2, I would shade in 2, 3/4, and 4/4. Well, 4/4 is considered one whole number then. So if I would go through and shade this in, this is now 1 and 1/4. This would now be 1 and 2/4, otherwise known as 1 and 1/2. If I would shade this in right here, I would have 1 and 3/4. And if I shade in that, now I have 2 whole pieces. So if we think of having 3 and 1/4, I would need to have another one of these. This would be all shaded in. So this would be 3 whole and 1/4. So if I figure out how many fourths do I have 4 of them here, another 4 here, another 4 here, give me a total of 12/4. That equals 3. But now I have an extra one. That is my 13th fourth. So if I think of 3 and 1/4, that turns into 13/4, because if I divide all of that up into fourths, that's how many fourths I have. I have 13 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So a shortcut, instead of drawing out pictures every time, is if I have 3 and 1/4, well, I have 3 wholes all divided into 4. So if I multiply those together, I get 12. But then I have to add that additional 1 on there. That gives me adding 1 gives me a 13. And again, we're talking about fourths, so I have 13/4. So if I give you one other example, if I had 2 and 1/5, to switch that to an improper fraction, I would have 2 wholes that are divided into 5, 2 whole pieces, so I multiply those together, giving me 10. Plus I would add 1 more, that would give me 11/5. So 2 and 1/5 equals 11/5.